Welcome back, Fayettes and Fantasy Fiends, to Heir of Fire, chapters 10 through 18. You're listening to Book 4-2. I'm Scott.
And I'm Genevieve. If you're new here, welcome to our brand of chaos.
We bring the male and female perspectives, the wild theories, the heated debates, and of course,
the couples banter you never knew you needed, but now can't escape.
She likes her books loaded with spice, morally great characters, and enough brooding fae males to start her own Magic Mike series.
And he likes his filled with epic lore, sword fights, and emotional damage he absolutely didn't sign up for, but now can't stop analyzing.
Every week, we dive into the books that wreck your soul and make you cancel plans. And right now, we're ripping through the entire Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas.
And once a month, we shake things up with a standalone read. Next up, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I swear. So if you love unhinged theories, emotional damage, and two readers yelling about their fictional obsessions, you're in the right place. Oh, before we forget, let's talk about book club.
Yes, the date and the next book have been chosen.
The next meeting is Monday, July 14th at 6 p.m. Central at Salt and Story in Niceville, Florida.
Locals, come hang out. It's free, it's fun, and we promise not to aggressively analyze the smut unless you want us to.
And for everyone not in the Panhandle, you can still join us on Discord. Same time, same chaos.
This month, we're tackling The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. So buckle up for fairy creepy intrigue, morally gray sword fights, and emotional landmines so messy they'll make you question your own life choices.
The link to join the Discord is in our show notes and on our socials. Just look for the Chaos Crew.
All right, it's time for the Gin Rummy update, and I'm sad to announce I'm still in the lead. And the score is still 2,327 to 2,233.
Sad to announce.
Sad to announce.
Uh-huh. We have been very busy trying to make bigger and better things happen for all of our amazing listeners. So be on the lookout for more merch, meets and greets, and lives.
And somehow that includes a Dark Hallmark t-shirt because I made one offhand comment about Romantasy being Hallmark with swords and over 1 million people agreed.
That video blew up on TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, it's a shirt now. And there's a sticker, obviously.
And more designs are coming. And if you want to help us pick them or just hoard shiny things, that's all happening over on Patreon.
So yeah, embrace the loop. Get the shirt. It's seasonal disassociation in cotton form. Available on our website.
And before we wrap the merch stuff up, we've got to shout out to Andrea Stallnacker from 18 West Boutique and Vintage in Seville, Ohio. She's been supporting the podcast from the beginning, and her shop is absolutely amazing. They've got everything from denim, candles, vintage Pyrex, and handmade goods from indie artists across the country.
Basically, it's what happens when someone with ridiculously good taste and a talent for finding cool stuff opens a boutique. Thanks, Andrea. We appreciate you. And if you're near that area in Ohio, be sure to check out her store.
Also, we're doing a thing. We'll be at NerdCon in Crestview, Florida on Saturday, September 27th at the Community Center.
We'll have a table, merch, stickers, maybe some bookmarks. And yes, we're also doing a panel.
So if you've ever wanted to watch us overthink tropes and emotionally spiral in public, this is your moment.
Come say hi, cosplay if that's your thing, or just lurk and vibe. We'll be thrilled either way. Okay, before we hit play on the trauma, 2 quick warnings. This episode contains spoilers for the first 3 books in the Throne of Glass series, as well as Heir of Fire. If you're not caught up, consider this your official spoiler shield.
Just a heads up, this is an adult content show. We swear like people who were raised by morally gray characters, talk about murder like it's a kink, and when the spice hits, let's just say we don't fade to black. You've been warned, and you're welcome.
We're getting deeper into Heir of Fire, and things are getting sharp. Celaena's got kitchen duty, a cranky new trainer, and more emotional baggage than a royal baggage train.
Rowan's not here to hug it out. He's here to break her down so she can maybe get her shit together before Dorian. Spoiler, she's not loving it.
Meanwhile, back in Rifthold, Dorian is bonding with a healer, losing control of his magic, and he's definitely not okay. Chaol's chasing shadows, dodging his dad, and trying to figure out what Aedion's doing with all that sneaking around.
And far, far away from all that, Manon Blackbeak is riding Wyverns, intimidating everyone within a 100-mile radius and possibly developing feelings for a lizard with wings.
So yeah, tensions are high, training is brutal, and every character's walking around like a lit match. Let's get into it.
All right, real quick before we dive into the drama, shameless plug time, sub, review. Follow us on socials, do all the algorithm things, It keeps this chaos train rolling and helps other book nerds find us before they disappear into another reading slump.
Speaking of chaos, follow us on socials for sneak peeks and spontaneous lives. And we are back to our regularly scheduled live on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on TikTok. Sometimes we deep dive. Sometimes Scott gets forced to read spicy scenes. Come hang out.
Also, get your ass into our Discord. If you've ever screamed about a plot twist at 2 a.m. and wanted someone to scream back, we've got you. The Chaos Crew is growing fast, and yeah, it's unhinged in the best way. Links in the show notes and on socials. Come yell with us.
And if you're more of a visual gremlin, yes, we're on YouTube now. Full episodes, full facial expressions, and full spirals in glorious HD.
And hey, don't sleep on the Patreon. We are literally reading Throne of Glass live with you, out loud, unhinged commentary included. Additionally, you get to help pick what we read next, vote on merch drops, and yes, we give away free stuff. It's hectic, it's communal, it's very us.
Also, if you're hunting for book recs, check out our current favorites on Amazon. We've got a running list linked in our link tree. Yes, we're enabling your TBR pile. You're welcome.
Last but not least, check out the merch. We've got stickers, bookmarks, and t-shirts up at bookfor2.com. Go grab something mildly unhinged and aggressively on brand.
All right. The spoiler warning has been dropped. The tea is hot and the chaos is ready.
And now let's dive into Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas.
Let's turn the page. Lost again in Chapter 10.
Monty Python presents Where the Fuck is Aedion?
They left their post, someone bought out the bar, and sent Chaol on a wild goose chase. Welcome to Chapter 10.
Chaol's on his way back to his room when he clocks that 2 out of the 4 guards are straight up gone. The 2 still there, looking nervous as fuck, like twitchy eyes, sweat on the upper lip nervous. Turns out the other 2 basically gave the Great Hall a finger and bailed because, let's get real, guarding the most boring room in the castle, not worth the overtime. So now Chaol's got to drag himself in the town in the middle of the night to hunt these idiots down. But first, he's laying down the law on Dumb and Dumber here.
Oh, and it's never good when the boss shows up to the party. The whole tavern just locks up, like someone hit pause on the debauchery. Everyone's buttholes collectively clenched. Why? Because Aedion apparently bought the place out like he was throwing a solo rager and then ghosted? The 2 missing guards, found them, drunk off their asses, but Aedion is gone. So now Chaol's stuck chasing shadows. Every answer is a new level of ridiculous. He's not here, sir. Try the kitchen.
No, not that kitchen, the secret one behind the broom closet. Oh, and bring a goat.
Is this a recon mission or a Monty Python sketch?
After getting yeeted through every secret broom closet and rifthold, Chaol finally throws in the towel and hauls ass back to the castle. He's got Aedion's Bane to prep for, and let's be real, nothing says welcome to the family like a little well-placed blackmail. Chaol's taking notes, and you better believe he's showing up at the next Rager with receipts.
All right. So we're back in Rifthold with Mr. Chaol.
And what a way to start this one. A little short chapter.
Yeah. And he's angry. They took off, and Aedion's, I guess, doing Aedion things and snatching guards like, hey, it's no big deal.
But Aedion's not there.
This. Yeah. He's not there.
Kind of reminds me of Daemon Targaryen. You know, at the beginning of season 1 where he has his, like, King's Guard and he's partying with them and stuff. But the difference is he was at his parties. This guy's not.
Yeah. Where'd he go?
Where did he go?
Speaking of where did people go, there was a part in this chapter where it talked about Chaol said that it would be bad if the king knew where he went every night. It was the last thing he wanted or needed, an entire legion of lethal warriors wreaking havoc on Rifthold and distracting his men. If that happened, the king might look too closely at Chaol or ask where he sometimes disappeared to. Where is he disappearing to?
Oh, Chaol's still doing this shit for Celaena and Dorian, and he's still doing all that shit.
Okay. All right.
Because remember, they're still keeping that secret from the king, obviously, with the portal.
Well, yeah.
And all that jazz.
Okay, so you think that's all it was? Not...
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, let's talk about the entrance to the tavern. Buttholes puckering up.
Okay.
Isn't that the worst? Like, your boss shows up. Not Mike, because Mike's cool. Your boss is cool. And then, like, you're like,
It, like, totally brings the mood down immediately.
Well, what sucks for Chaol is he's, like, 24 years old? To be only 24 and people to look at you like, oh, party pooper's here. No.
Oh, the fun police.
And what's fucked up is they gave him the runaround. They're like, oh, he's over here. Oh, he's not over here. Because, like, Obviously, we didn't go as in detail in the book, but they're like, oh, he's playing with the band. They're like, who the fuck says he's playing with the band? And he looks up at the thing and he's like, he's not up there playing with the band. What the hell?
Yeah, somebody saw him playing a fiddle in the main room.
What the fuck? I feel like they were just fucking with Chaol.
You think so?
There's no way Aedion was doing all that shit. Just sitting there like pulling a tamlin up on the goddamn stage, fiddling around.
Maybe. So you think he like paid off all of these people to say that?
No, I think it's the typical let's fuck with the boss thing. Like, oh, the boss is here. We're hammered drunk. Oh, I haven't seen him. Try over here. Oh, I haven't seen him. Try over here.
The only people that knew him were the 2 guards. Everybody else is just normal people. Oh, plus half.
Everyone knows who Aedion Ash River is. It's like Daemon Targaryen coming into town. Everyone knows who he is. He's popular. He's the Wolf of the North.
I don't know.
They were fucking with Chaol.
I don't think they were fucking with Chaol.
They were fucking with Chaol. That whole thing was fucking with Chaol.
I think he was making alibis for himself.
Who?
Aedion. Someone saw him here. Someone saw him there. Somebody saw him over there.
I don't think it was that serious.
He was at the party. We all saw him.
I don't think it was that serious to where Aedion walked to every person and made up a different story for every single one of them to give.
Okay.
That's a lot to be like, hey, if someone asks, tell them I'm here. Then go to a different person. If someone asks, tell them I'm here. Why wouldn't you just say the same thing if you're making shit up? Because then you want your alibi to be nice and tight. You want everyone to say the same thing and not make shit up.
But to send him on a wild goose chase, though, not to just have everybody say the same thing. So to send him on a goose chase.
Okay, so goose chase, yes. But I think these guys are sending him on a goose chase to fuck with him because he's the boss. Because like you said, he walks in, everyone's buttholes puckered like, oh, fuck, boss is here. And they're all hammered. So of course you're going to fuck with him.
It said the tavern was crammed with various nobles, some women who could have been courtesans or courtiers, and the men, lots of drunk, boisterous men.
Mm-hmm. Drunk boys. Do you know how drunk, boisterous men act?
Yeah.
Like idiots. Trust me. At that age in my 20s, my boys and I guarantee you, had we been at a bar and our master sergeant or flight chief walked in and was like looking for our OIC and he just wasn't there, we'd be fucking with him too. Be like, oh, he's over fucking here fiddling on this. Of course we're going to fuck with him.
With the captain of the guard? Why
not?
What if the Secretary of the Air Force or some high-ranking general of the Air Force came in?
You're drunk. Who gives a shit? And how are they going to prove anything? Because they can't say that you didn't see them there. You probably saw them there. Who gives a fuck?
I don't know.
I think you're reading too far into it, like making Aedion super sneaky. I mean, he's sneaky, but he ain't that sneaky. I think this is just his boys. Well, not his boys, but like these guys is fucking with Chaol. They sent him to some random ass places. Look at all the places he sent him. Read them out. Random.
Someone sent Chaol upstairs to one of the tavern bedrooms where he found 2 women, but there was another man there.
Mm-hmm.
They'd seen him playing dice in the cellar with some masked high-ranking nobles.
Okay, so he's in a bedroom. Now he's playing dice with some fucking nobles. Yeah, downstairs, right? Playing dice,
those
random.
People were there. They were masked high-ranking nobles.
Okay.
And then they said that they had seen him last playing fiddle in the main room, so he went back upstairs.
Exactly. This is the most random shit that no one would do.
And then a courtesan prowled up to him to sell her wares and would have walked away, but he gave her a coin and asked for information. And she said she'd seen him leave an hour ago on the arm of one of her rivals, headed off to a more private location.
Uh-huh. Now,
You think that all of those people were just like, let's just fuck with this guy.
Yes.
This is the captain of the Royal Guard.
There's no way that he did all this random ass shit. I'm just going to go play some dice downstairs. Then I'm going to go fiddle upstairs. Then I'm going to go with a hooker after that. Random.
I mean, I guess we'll have to see.
I mean, if he did it, props to him. Because that's fucking hilarious that he did all of that just to,
That's how you create an alibi.
But I've never seen anyone do that. Like, usually it's just like...
You got to start watching Criminal Minds more.
Ugh.
I love that show.
Gross. All right, I think we've exhausted this one. You ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
Tired of rhyming with 11 in chapter 11.
Demigods, dishes, and the collector.
Celaena's cold, bruised, and about one sarcastic thought away from snapping, but hey, welcome to chapter 11.
Celaena wakes up looking like she got in a bar fight with a garbage can and lost. We're talking crusty, bruised, freezing, and very much in her, I swear I'm never drinking again era. She finally takes a bath. Cue angelic chorus, but it's so cold. She's barely dry before the shivering kicks in. Nothing like trying to pull yourself together in front of a mirror while looking like death reheated. And listen, Thank the gods it's kitchen duty and not date night, because girl is not passing any beauty inspections today. As she rubs her hands together for warmth, she brushes the ring Chaol gave her.
Aww.
And cue the spiral. Not the full plunge, but enough to start rehashing the Nehemia stuff. And it's not directly his fault, but he did choose the king, and that betrayal still burns.
No time for sad girl spiral like Genevieve here. It's scullery duty o'clock, bread and warmth, and also an old man and a kid just casually prancing around. Like this kitchen's got main character energy. Oh, and of course, Rowan, famously brooding in the corner like he's posing for the cover of a moody Fae monthly calendar, clearly annoyed she actually showed up. So here's the deal. Mornings in the kitchen, afternoons in Fight Club with Rowan. To keep things low-key, she throws out her fourth favorite name. I am Alentia, whatever. I think Alentia sounds more graceful, honestly.
Yes.
I'm going with that one.
Let's go with it.
The old guy's name is Emmers, and the enthusiastic kid, Luca. Ears say they're both half-breeds, and vibes say they're about to be the only people not totally insufferable around here.
As she's trying to get her bearings and maybe figure out how not to collapse, Emmers gives her a casual little tour, and yeah, he notices. The bruises, the accent, the weight of someone who's been through hell and is still stuck in the fire. Celaena's determined not to be some spoiled noble nightmare, so she volunteers for everything, like full overachiever mode unlocked. And Emmers, bless him, starts her with something easy. Maybe he's got a sixth sense for traumatized girls with too much pride and not enough food. As she starts working, she walks past the statues. 2 goddesses carved in stone. One is clearly Diana.
Okay.
All strength and moon vibes. But the other is holding a bronze disc, like some celestial offering plate. But they're watching, judging, glowing maybe? All I'm saying is,
it always feels like somebody's watching me.
Tell me the gods aren't creeping. That was fabulous.
Breakfast was like the plague of locusts demolishing a wheat field, just straight chaos. No one batted an eye at Celaena, which honestly, perfect. Staying invisible makes it a hell of a lot easier to keep her identity on the down low. Well, invisible to everyone except Emmers, who's clocking her like he's the kitchen's personal security camera. Once the morning rush died down, she got to eat before scrubbing down the kitchen, and thank the gods because she's going to need the calories if she's throwing hands with Rowan this afternoon. While she was cleaning, she caught herself wondering what Emmers and Luca would think if they knew who she really was. These two seemed like genuinely good people, the kind that deserve safety from the mess that is Otterland. And just like that, Nehemia's words hit her again.
Do not let that light go out. Luca breaks her out of the spiral by doing what all extroverts do best, asking questions and ignoring social cues. He wants to know about Rowan, about training, about Dorian, which apparently is his own dream destination, just like it was Emrys's for 10 years. But he never made it, and he stayed behind with his mate instead. And oh yes, we're doing a full mates explanation. Classic fantasy world building bingo. Fated pair, can't live without each other, hearts tied in some magical Google Doc. These two are demi-fae, not half-fae, demi-fae. Thank you very much. Words matter. They were born to mortal mothers and deadbeat fae dads who vanished like they were grabbing a gallon of milk and a scratch-off ticket.
Nice. I can't believe you said that. How dare you?
And now they belong to no one. Not the humans, not the fae. So they stay here with each other. Then they get into shifting and how Maeve likes to collect powerful people, which is totally normal behavior, right? That's not creepy at all. We've got the collector from the Guardians of the Galaxy energy going on here. Like, welcome to Maeve's magical menagerie. Please leave your soul at the door.
Ooh, I like that one. Very nice. Neither Emmers nor Luca have magic, which honestly tracks. Most demi-fae don't. And when they do, it's usually some tame shit like growing flowers. All right, Luca, it's easy to mock plant magic when you don't possess the black thumb of death like us. Fucking kid. But get this. They did have a woman roll through 2 years ago who had serious power. She could summon any of the elements and was handpicked by Maeve for a golden ticket to Dorian. Oh, and of course, she was hot. Because apparently, magic recruitment works like The Bachelor now. They started speculating how magic even works, and some folk think it's Greek mythology rules, gods hooking up with mortals, and boom, magic babies. Celaena asks about Rowan and learns that besides him and 6 other fae who report directly to Maeve, no one else really rolls through. And yep, Rowan's ancient, but looks like he's fresh out of college. Luca's convinced that he's a sadist, and honestly, I buy it. Guy's got the warmth of a one-night stand sneaking out before sunrise.
Celaena chimes in, though. I can handle him.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, that was a fun chapter.
There's also a lot of information dump in this chapter about how Fae work, half Fae work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then whoever this mysterious woman is. But like you said, we're going to start from the top.
Yeah. All right. So the top, we are talking about kitchen duty.
Yay. Well, and she's also struggle bussing from just life, looking like hot garbage and shit.
Mm-hmm. Was this from him punching her?
I mean, that was the bruises and shit, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the hot garbage and everything is because she hasn't showered in fucking forever since she's gotten to Wendelin.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
she's a dirty beast.
Ugh, gross. And we met 2 new people, Emrys and Luca.
And they are demi-fae, not half-fae. Let's get it right.
Or half-breeds.
Calling a non-magic person or a half person like a muggle. Or a... Well, no. What was it? What was it for dirty blood? Mudblood.
Oh, yuck.
Then we find out that she's going to be working there.
Mm-hmm.
And then training with Rowan. And then as she's getting ready, she finds the statue of 2 gods.
This is when she's in the kitchen.
Yes.
She sees the 2 goddesses. One is Diana, and we don't know who the other one is, right?
Nope.
Okay.
We do know there's 9 gods, so we have 8 to choose from. But goddess, so subtract the men, then that should, narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And we know it's not the goddess of love because we know what she looks like based on Throne of Glass.
Yes.
And then after breakfast, they got to talking, Celaena, Emrys, and Luca.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's where we found out what demi-fae means and that they don't really have magic, and they do. They say it's kind of like bullshit magic. We think it's cool.
I know. That'd be awesome. Oh, I would give anything to have a little bit of magic.
But I get it in their world when you have a woman coming in who can control all the elements, and then this person's like, look, I grew basil. You're like,
look, I grew basil.
Like, great. Like, good job, Martha. You grew basil.
Oh,
so fucking proud of you.
Poor Martha.
She's controlling all the elements. And
well, it sounds like you don't want to be too powerful because then Maeve whisks you away to her collection of some sort.
But we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. It could just be part of her army.
That's true. That's true.
Or she could just be, like you said, the collector from Guardians, and she wants to collect all the power for people because they get bored when they're immortal. And they start doing some wild shit.
I mean, that's fair. It's kind of the same thing with billionaires. They get bored having all that money and nothing to do with it, can do whatever they want, and they just got to keep coming up with new and terrible things to do.
Well, it was also like Altered Carbon, where they would like own people's consciousness and shit and like input them in animals and own them forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, rich people they get bored.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she was collecting people.
No. Ooh, they also talked about shapeshifting too, so neither of them can shapeshift.
Well, that's because they're demi.
True. She did admit that she is not half.
Yes, she did admit that.
Okay, real quick. Who do we think this woman is?
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't speculated that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone's waiting for us to tinfoil that one.
To tinfoil that one. All right, so.
Definitely not Caltaine. Caltaine is in the wagon with Roland, and Manon saw them.
But that was 2 years ago. That she rolled through 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That she was able to control the 4 elements. So it could
Caltaine doesn't have magic.
You don't know that?
She didn't have magic then.
How do you know?
What is Caltaine doing in Wendelin?
I don't know. How do you know it wasn't her?
It's not her.
You cannot say that definitively. SJM did not use those words.
Well, whoever was there stayed there because she's been collected.
Are you sure? Are you sure she wasn't sent back over and happens to live in the glass castle now? Or did until she got put in a caravan?
So you're telling me 2 years ago, Caltaine went over to Wendelin and then left early and then came back because Throne of Glass happened about a year ago.
She could be one of Maeve's 12 because she can't have 13 because Manon has 13. I don't know.
When did we get the arbitrary number of 12?
I don't know. I wanted her to have one less than Manon for some reason.
How much did we smoke?
I don't know. All right. So who else could it be then? Irene?
Irene is slim. Very slim.
Why would we think that she would control all 4 elements?
Because she's a healer. She cares about healing. What the fuck does she care about 4 elements?
What about Ansel?
Ansel's possible. Because it says beautiful. So there's 2 people that have been really brought up as beautiful besides Caltaine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Irene is pretty, but they never said really mention her beauty.
Yes.
Ansel definitely mentioned her beauty.
Yes.
For sure. And then we're missing one other in the same book.
Oh, Lysandra. There's no way it was Lysandra.
Hold on. Could be Ansel. But Ansel cares more about getting her land back and getting revenge and shit.
At least she did. Maybe something changed after she almost got shot by an arrow.
Yes. But the timing is 2 years ago. That's around the time when Celaena had met her at the Silent Assassins. It was about 2 years ago anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
But could still be her. She could have went straight there because she was like, maybe the Silent Assassins aren't helping me out. Maybe people of Wendolyn will help me out to get her revenge. Very possible. But when did she get magic? She was never magical.
How do you know?
Exactly. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
All right. And then Lysandra is possible.
It's not possible.
How?
She's been in Rifthold. Erebin has been grooming her since she was itty bitty.
That was an assassin's blade. That was over 2 years ago now. She could have escaped and worked her way over there. Where else would you go to escape Erebin?
Who said she wanted to escape Erebin?
The dude is a sick fuck.
She don't know that.
She does.
All she knows is he gave them a shit ton of money for her hoo-ha.
We don't know her thinking.
We don't. Maybe. I'm putting her at the bottom of the list. I'm going to say that it's somebody we haven't met yet.
That's very possible as well. That's the other option. Out of the people we've met, Lysandra to me is the most plausible.
I'm saying Keltane. For me, it's Keltane.
What?
Yes.
No way.
What do you mean there's
She's
no way?
the least plausible.
How is she the least plausible?
Because she was in
You
Rifthold.
have no idea where she was before
wherever
Rifthold.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
It says someone thrown a glass.
It tells you. We don't know that for sure.
Why would she just go there for a year and come back? If Maeve is a collector, when someone collects somebody, they literally use the word collector. You do not let your collections go like Erebin did. You saw what Erebin did to his collections? No.
Why would you not think that if she had collected someone who could do that kind of magic, she wouldn't use them against the king of Otterlin?
Then if she is that, hold on. If she's being controlled.
Is she?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I do know of a very slim ACOTAR connection. People think that she is a character in ACOTAR.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you that one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it out loud, but people who know.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's possible.
You ready to turn the page?
Yeah, I am. Let's go. Breaking the spell in chapter 12.
Witch Game and Death Lizard Claims.
Ironteeth, murder stairs, and a wyvern named Titus. This is chapter 12.
The Blackbeak clan shows up fashionably late to the Ferian Gap. Yeah, nobody wants to be first at a fucking party. Last to arrive, loudest to lurk. Manon hasn't even seen the wyverns yet, but she can hear them. And nothing says, sleep tight, like the sound of murder lizards echoing off the mountains. It's been 500 years since the clans all came together. Back then, they rolled 20,000 deep. Now, maybe 3,000 tops. Whole damn legacy on life support.
Oof.
They were told no infighting, which of course went over like a fart in a sealed tent. Scuffles still broke out, including one involving Manon's second. And in the Blackbeak clan, punishment simple. 3 unguarded hits, gut, ribs, face is not justice. It's just tradition with blood.
Ugh. And Asterin took all 3 hits like she was sipping tea. Not even a flinch. Just stood there, stone-faced, and then had the audacity to smile at Manon over breakfast, in which speak, that's basically, I won't gut you during drills today. So we're cool. Then we meet Iskra, who is heir to the Yellow Legs clan. Big sneer energy. They hold a memorial for Baba Yellowlegs, and I'm using that word very loosely. Manon never met her and couldn't care less. She's not mourning, but she's curious. Who killed her? Why? But nobody's talking, or maybe nobody knows. Then we get a hit of blue blood history. They are the religious ones. They have dreamy visions, sacred destiny, all that jazz. They're the reason the Witch Kingdom even united in the first place, but make no mistake, it was the Blackbeaks who won the battles. And the Blue Bloods just showed up with good PR.
To get to the atrium, they had to cross this massive stone stretch, and something about it feels off. Manon catches a scent that's all wrong. The same shit she smelled on those 2 poor bastards in the caravan wagons. It's not just foul, it's unnatural. Like, not from this plane of existence kind of an unnatural. Legend goes that the 3-faced goddess gifted witches with iron, teeth, and nails to keep them anchored to this world. But the Blue Blood matron, she's rocking a full-on band of iron stars across her forehead, like she needs extra iron just to stay grounded. Real, my magic's on another level. The Blackbeak clan rolls deep with 20 coven leaders, but it's Manon and her 13 running the show. As she stalks past, each one gives her that 2-finger salute to the brow, a sign of respect. And when her grandmother actually gives her a nod, that's basically a parade and confetti by Blackbeak standards.
Okay. Obedience, discipline, brutality. These are the 3 pillars of the Blackbeak living. Everything else is dead weight. And then we're introduced to Petra, who is the blue blood heir, and she's probably around Manon's age. And then we whip right back to Iskra, who is still walking around smug as hell. Manon hasn't forgotten that fight her sentinel got into, and she sure as hell hasn't missed that Iskra let it slide. But witch justice isn't about feelings, it's about rules, and unless Iskra makes a move first, Manon can't do anything, which is deeply inconvenient because she absolutely wants to tear her throat out. Then the blue blood matron, Cressida, declares it's time. No fanfare, just this awful, cursed-looking bridge stretched into the sky. Mother Blackbeak gives the go-ahead like, well, get on with it. No instructions, no support, just walk into the sky, darlings. Good luck.
Manon really hated the Blackstone Bridge. Like, who signed off on this horror show? And why the hell was she the only one who seemed to smell the stench coming off of it? At least this one had a railing. Poor Dylan. Didn't get the courtesy.
No, Dylan.
There was so much mist, she couldn't even see the floor of the gap. Honestly, it felt like some illusion casting bullshit courtesy of the king. By the time they hit the atrium, noses were frozen, and Manon had snot practically icicling down her face. Ew. But her guard was still up. The massive stone mouth of the opening loomed ahead, and 5 men stepped out. Every air snapped into protection mode, ready to throw themselves into whatever came next. Because part of the job description, die for your high witch if you have to. Benefits package not included.
Great job. Wonderful. Where do I apply?
Hey, sounds like all the American jobs.
Oh, gosh. Benefits packages are never included anymore.
Especially healthcare.
Turns out the murder cave is also the Wyvern house. The men explain that the beasts are split by gender and type, because apparently bulls don't play well with others, unless you count the sexy times. In which case, carry on. The bulls are the biggest and the strongest, but the females are equally savage and smart enough to make you nervous. The smaller wyverns have been selectively bred for patrol duty. Blacks for nights, blues for daylight. It's very fashion forward, very sky chic.
Yes.
Very sky chic here.
We'll have another.
They head deeper down into the mountain, and the space opens into what I can only describe as a straight-up dragon cavern. House of the Dragons fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Stone walls, echoing screeches, that heavy heat in the air. Welcome to the training pit. Every wyvern goes through here before being claimed. Survival of the fiercest.
They've trained a handful of the more chill wyverns, starter pack types, to help teach the basics without immediately getting someone's face ripped off. A few grumbles echoed through the group, but those died real quick, especially when they saw how big they are. Not the time to whine when literal death lizards are on the other side of the stone. Once their heirs are ready, they'll start picking their mounts and get to training. And then the guy casually drops, "Want to see a bull?" Hell yeah, they do. There's this collective inhale from everyone, even Manon, when the beast steps out. He's massive, like Drogon in the dragon pit, towering, pissed off and ready to ruin someone's day. His name, Titus.
Okay, let's do a quick side quest. Let's talk about wyverns. Or wyverns. I'm sticking with wyverns. I've called them that my entire life. So, as it's described in the book, they are nightmare fuel with wings, massive back legs, talons the size of Manon's forearm. They have wings so powerful they double as front limbs. So they've got the little claws on the front.
Oh, it's like bats. If you think like bats, how they have like the little, so it's like a bat mixed,
Okay. And then they've got a venomous barb on their tail because, claws and teeth aren't enough. And, they can fly hundreds of miles a day and still be ready to brawl when they get there.
Yeah, wyvern's like a mix of a dragon, snake, bat. And they even show you like the difference between like wyvern versus dragon.
Okay.
And dragons are bigger too usually.
Oh, and then the guy drops this knowledge on them. Hey, guess what they eat? Well, they'll eat anything, but it has to be fresh. That's very side eye. It's got to be fresh though. And just like that, Titus proves that point by straight up eating one of the men. No warning. It's just snack time. 1 minute he's standing there. The next he's lunch. And then Titus locks eyes with Manon. And she locks eyes right back. It's instant. This isn't just that's a nice murder lizard. No, it's him. She will have no other. The bond is sealed. Wait, did he just smile back at her? I think he just smiled back at her.
Real quick, if they ever make this live action, I would love to see this dude get eaten up by Titus. That'd be really cool.
Right? Oh, that would be pretty gruesome.
Okay, back to the top. This is another lore dump, this time for the witches.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we have all three together, Blackbeak,
Yellow Legs,
and Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods, yes. So
just like in any religion, like Christianity and stuff, it sounds like there's different sects. Like there you have the more hardcore people like the Blue Bloods, where they like kind of flog themselves. You have the Christians that are like that, that wear like the crowns and like hurt themselves in the name of religion or bullshit.
I think they were the only ones, though. I don't think the other two did something like that.
You have those type of Christians, I forget what they're called. They're super hardcore. Then you have Blackbeaks, which are more nastier. So they would kind of be like the Roman Catholics.
Okay.
And then you had the Yellow Legs, which are don't give a fuck. So they would just be the Protestants. So you know what I mean? And they hate each other. So the Catholics and Protestants hate each other.
So you're saying all of them worship the three-faced goddess?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you. I understand now.
Yes, but they worship it in a different way. Like the Blue Bloods are more hardcore by wearing the crowns and, you know, giving themselves punishment, because there are Christians that do that. There's like a legit Christian sect that do that. And then like the Blackbeaks are just more like Norse kind of like hardcore, you know, punishment style. And then you got the Yellow Legs that are just like kind of like don't give a fuck. They just go with the flow kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I just kind of noticed that. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, but it also, they haven't seen each other in what, 500 years? That's a long time.
They haven't gotten together in 500
Well, yeah,
years.
because they fucking hate each other.
They're barely holding it together right now. They keep getting punched.
Well, I mean, if they don't hold together, they don't get free wyverns.
All right. So we get to the stone bridge, and it smells like the people in the caravan. And it seems like she's the only one smelling this. Is no one else? Is there something different about her? Does this have something to do with her solid gold eyes? Why is she smelling this and no one else is? Or are they and they're just not saying anything? Because she's not saying anything.
So you and I know what it is, because this was the experiment that the king was doing in the Ferian Gap. He was creating wyverns.
But has anyone at the Glass Castle mentioned any smell around the tower? I don't remember anyone mentioning any smell. And that makes me... maybe not.
But you also got to remember the Ironteeth witches are Valg. So they can smell their own power probably. And she's got the full gold eyes, right? The yellow eyes. Mm-hmm. So she's probably one of the most powerful witches. So that's probably why she can smell it.
Okay.
It's black magic that smells black magic. So,
okay. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I see what you're saying. She could be the only one that smells it because she might just be more powerful than others, or she's just more sensitive to it than others. So I'm sure they'll be explained later, because you're right. It's mentioned for a reason.
Do we know who her father is?
No. My guess is, since there's no male witches, that they just breed and then probably like a praying mantis and then kill the person.
And that's what makes me wonder who her father is. Why does she have solid gold eyes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe whatever that person's power gave her is why she can smell whatever this is. And
also, real quick, let's give a quick mention to Baba Yellow Legs, rest in peace.
Because that's about as long as it took them too.
Well, but my thing is, apparently she was a powerful fucking badass bitch. So Celaena taking her out was pretty sick. And you and I talked about this offhand, that I am just wondering, is it because magic is turned off? Because we did confirm that they don't have their magic. The witches don't. So did that make it easier for Celaena? So had she had magic, would it still have been that easy for Celaena?
Oh, that's a very good point.
I'm just saying. So you had a nerfed Baba Yellow Legs,
who
basically.
Almost still got the better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. But if there was magic,
Celaena would have magic.
Celaena could also have magic.
But Celaena didn't like to use her magic. So who knows? Who knows? That's a what if. That's a fun what if.
It is a fun what if.
So,
all right.
So I think you and I agreed. But I think we did talk about this. We said, does she not use her magic, she gets her ass kicked by Baba almost every single time. But if she uses her magic, we saw what she did to that fucking demon thing. Mm-hmm. She would probably get Baba with that blue flame shit. And
we don't know what Baba can do, though.
I mean, true.
We have no idea what she could have done. Maybe it was something to do with those mirrors.
All right. And then last but not least, we learn a little bit about the wyverns themselves. The bulls are big and crazy. The females are smart. First, before she met Titus, when I heard that mention that the females are smarter and like that, I was like, okay, so she's probably going to pick a female, because these are witches, these are females, probably going to connect more. And then when she saw Titus, she was like, mine. What
if Titus isn't the one that she goes with? I assume that it is going to be based on how
the way
it was all worded.
Yeah, she's like, that fucker is mine.
How did they describe him?
Big and badass. I don't know.
The thing that I thought that caught me, that I thought she might not be with Titus, was she was asking what the chains were for. The chains were for the bait beasts. Just like dogfighting, she looked again into the splotch. The bait beast had probably been thrown by one of the bigger ones. Well, no, maybe she's just... Never mind. She's just excited about destruction.
Well, remember what I said last week when we were like, oh, she's sad about her broom, but you're getting a wyvern? Yeah, I think she's happy about her fucking wyvern now.
Yeah, especially now that they find out they can fly hundreds of miles in a day and then fight.
Yeah. So screw your little Dodge fucking stealth that you had. Now she has a damn McLaren. She's good to go.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So we ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
Still no queen in chapter 13.
Dead zones and emotional landmines.
When rage won't work and magic won't answer, welcome to chapter 13.
We're back in the kitchen with Emrys and Luca, and for half a second, everything's normal until the air just shifts. That kind of silence that makes your spine sit up straight. Even without turning around, Celaena knows Browen's back.
Fucking Browen. Bringing down the goddamn atmosphere.
And of course, we're not training inside like normal people. No, we're doing cardio. Up the ridge, higher and higher, until they finally stop and Celaena's breathless, bracing and throwing out the challenge. Do your worst. Rowan, though, he's not impressed. He just looks her over like she's a puzzle missing half the pieces and tells her to knock off the dramatics. Whatever monster she's hiding under that rage hoodie, he's seen worse, been worse, and he's not scared of her little temper tantrum routine.
Rowan wants her to shift. Just boom, on command, cool, no pressure, right? Except there's a massive problem. She couldn't pull it off before magic noped out, and now it's like trying to start a fire with wet matches. So if today's all about shifting, buckle up. It's going to be a long one, buddy. And then he attacks. No warning. She's sharp enough to dodge the first swing, even the second, but the guy's too damn fast. Next thing she knows, she's flat on her back with his thighs crushing into her ribs, yelling at her to shift.
Celaena laughs, not a cute giggle, and "Are you serious right now?" kind of laugh. Because trying to piss her off into shifting, that's not the move. She's got too much rage and not enough fuse. That tactic's a dead end. Maybe she could bribe him. Gold? Flattery? Cookies? But no, he's not here to play. Rowan snaps, calling her an assassin with no control, no discipline, a spoiled brat, and a coward. And there it is, that word again.
She fights to get free, probably thinking about clawing his smug face off after that little speech, but he clocks that. That word, coward, hit her like a damn freight train. And when he said it again, she just shut down, fully checked the fuck out. It's like her brain spiraled straight into the trauma vault. Nehemia, Archer, Chaol, all of it slamming back. She tried, reached for the magic, and got nothing. Just silence.
So that didn't work. Great. Now on to Rowan's plan B. Take her to the edge of some windswept plateau dotted with barrows like it's a gothic picnic spot. Under those mounds, behind locked iron doors, are wights and their stolen treasures. The task is oh so simple. Walk through the field, survive the undead, and make it to the other side. If she does, they can go to Dorian whenever she wants. Obviously, it's a trap. And let's not forget, she still hasn't earned her steel back. It's just her and her bare hands, which she naturally insists that's all she needs. Here goes her ego again. We'll see.
Rowan led the way. All serious warriors strut through the field of creepy-ass burial mounds, and Celaena followed close behind. They stopped just before hitting a circle of dead grass that absolutely screamed, "Do not enter." The barrel at the center was different. Not just visually. This thing felt wrong. The darkness inside was reaching for her like it knew her name. And Rowan hit her with a casual, "Peace out," and basically said, "I'll catch you on the other side if you survive the undead welcome committee." Everything in her was ready to nope the hell out, exactly what he expected, but instead, she just tilted her chin up like, "Try me," and stepped into the dead zone.
Oh, her and her ego, man. Here we go again.
Yep. Oh. I think Rowan's going to get that fucking ego out of her. He's trying to.
Yeah. But I mean, just yelling at her to shift. I mean, I guess he assumes that she knows how to do that on command.
I get what's going on here. You need this to be like very tense with each other and all that. And
oh, you're just meaning for the book and the trope.
Yeah.
No,
I was like, if you're really going to train this woman, you're not going to act the way he's acting right now. And because he's acting kind of like a dick himself, to be honest. He's just like, "Oh, shift now." It's like, motherfucker. Like last time I was able to shift, I was 8 years old. Get off my back.
That's true. Like he's being awfully pushy and brutal about
dick.
Like,
and how did Chaol train her? Very nice, like.
Oh,
did he not? And throw
here
glass?
We go again.
Did he not?
Here we go again.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
All right, Chaol Stan.
The fucking silent master. Even Ansel treated her with respect when training her.
That's true.
Just saying. There's no reason to be a dick just because you're doing what you don't want to do. The reason why you're training her, dickhead, is because Maeve knows that you're the best and she's supposed to be queen. So if you're going to make someone queen, why not have the best trainer? I'm just saying. To me, if I was Rowan, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a fucking compliment from the queen."
A compliment? He's like the highest ranking person in her personal guard.
And what the fuck else are they doing? They're not helping Otterland. They're just chilling. What else does he have to do with his day?
You don't know? Did you ask him what else he was supposed to be doing with his day besides babysitting Celaena?
And getting shitty face tattoos? I don't know.
How
I said
dare you?
I said it.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Shitty face tattoos.
I have nothing left to say to you about this chapter.
I really do question if she had Mike Tyson in mind when she thought about this. Because it's same spot. Same spot.
No, it's not.
Oh, look. Over the eyeball. Look at that. Let's look at Rowan. Oh, look. Same side and everything.
He does not have a Mike Tyson tattoo. You take it back right now. I will stop reading this book with you.
That's fine. He has a Mike Tyson tattoo.
No, he does not. The girls are all going to be mad at you.
That's
and I am
fine.
not going to hold them back.
That's fine.
Not going to hold them back.
That's fine.
All right, let's talk about these things in the barrows. It's obviously someone who thinks about Mike Tyson tattoos. He's trying to force her to shift. And I guess he's just doing it the dickish way. The only way he knows how, maybe, or I don't know. We don't know how old he is. Maybe he's just tired of doing this shit.
I mean, that's a good point. I'm too old for this shit. The old lethal weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm too old for this shit. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go with that. Okay, we'll go with that. Fine. I'm too old for this shit.
All right.
I'll give you that one. All right. You ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go. Magic Unseen in Chapter 14.
Shadow games and vomit spells.
A walk through a haunted field, a mystery man in the mist, and a trauma spiral for the ages. This is Chapter 14.
Every step toward that central mound made her blood roar louder. The air was colder, drier, like her body was being leached of everything warm. Running? Not an option. Predators love that. So she kept it steady, step by step, even as the white crept to the edge of the mound. But it didn't cross the threshold. Hell, it didn't even try to drag her in when she was close enough. It easily could have. Instead, the air shifted. Some kind of pressure in her ears, like the altitude dropped or magic coiled. Then the high-pitched ringing hit, and she picked up the pace.
It got worse, louder, like her skull was trying to split from the inside. Even the white, who had no business being scared of anything, flinched back. She was right there, so close to the edge. Just a few more steps, and there was someone standing behind the barrow. Not a white, too still, too perfect. Pale skin, night dark hair, beautiful in a way that made her stomach lurch, and a black onyx torque around his neck. She didn't even have time to react. Blackness slammed down like a dropped curtain.
Time out. Side quest. Emergency side quest.
Emergency side quest?
Emergency side quest.
Oh my gosh, okay, go.
Go ahead and say it. Who is it? Who do you think it is? Say it. Say it.
Resand.
Why?
Because, I don't know, night dark hair, beautiful, pale skin, it's darkness, it's nightmares, the court of nightmares, the court of night. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I'm high, but I'm not that high.
I thought of this when I wasn't. So, all right. Well, suddenly she was blind. Everything was still there. She could still feel everything, but she was sightless. She dropped into a crouch out of instinct. But let's be real. This wasn't mortal. That move wasn't going to save her.
The deeper she got, the more her head felt like it was about to explode. Blood started trickling from her nose, and the pounding in her skull drowned out every thought. Stop. Breathe, she told herself. But then, there it was, breathing behind her, getting closer. No. She bolted forward, but somehow the breathing followed, like her movement summoned it. Then came the scent, dust, blood, rot. It was on her neck now. She spun, and the world lit up white hot as she was slammed straight into the worst kind of memory, her parents' bedroom, after the murders.
No. This wasn't real. She kept whispering it like a shield. This is not real. But the images didn't care. They stayed. It was vivid, sickening. She vomited and then pissed herself, then vomited again.
Ugh.
It was that bad. She shoved herself through the wall, anything to escape what she was seeing, and ended up in another room. Worse, Nehemiah's bedroom. After Grave was done with her, something behind her slid a hand around her waist, pulling her back against its chest like they were old lovers. Celaena panicked, slammed her elbow back and up hard, and broke free, tearing through the scene in front of her like it might split apart if she just ran fast enough.
Then, light. Actual sunlight. Rowan was up ahead, and some awful broken sound was tearing out of her own throat. She sprinted toward him, still dry heaving, still trying to scrape that nightmare off her skin. And then, shit got weird. Her body started flipping, literally back and forth between human and fae over and over and over again, out of control, like her own skin didn't know what it was doing anymore. Now, with each shift, she felt that wildfire rising, her magic unleashed.
Whew. She woke up later under the forest canopy like she had just respawned after a boss fight. She absolutely did not win. It's still daylight. She's still covered in sweat, piss, and her own stomach lining. And Rowan, he's already mid-rant. Discipline, control, courage. She's got none of it. She's failed. That's the verdict. She was supposed to face the whites, not fling herself into a magic-fueled meltdown and hope for the best. And then casually, like he's not dropping a whole new horror subplot, he says,
"That was not a white."
And we have to go on a side quest real quick because I need to...
Okay, so I know what you want to say. Where they're sounds like they're talking in their heads.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and say it.
Okay. I'm going to read this part out loud directly from the book.
Okay.
Okay. All right. She says out loud, "I will kill you." She said the words raw and gasping. How dare. And then he said out loud, "That was not a white princess." Out loud. Okay. Then he flicks his attention toward the trees beyond her. She might have roared about using specifics to escape his bargain to bring her to Doranel. But when his eyes met hers again, he seemed to say, that thing should not have been there.
Stop right there.
I understand.
Words
Wait.
matter.
I understand.
Seemed.
I understand.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Then what in the hell was it, you stupid bastard? She silently shot back. He clenched his jaw before he said aloud, "I don't know."
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying it's not telepathy.
And I understand what you're saying about
it said seems.
making eye contact.
Well, not only that,
and-
but the word seems like instead of said.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think it's just body language. There's reading body language, and he just understood, like,
It didn't say that she rolled her eyes at him and silently shot back. It said, this is what she thought in her head and shot back at him. And he answered aloud, "I don't know." So I'm just saying, maybe. I listened to this part probably 20 times, trying to decide. I've talked to Bree about it already. 95% sure. That's what I'm going with.
and that's fine. I'm just saying there's nothing that says it's for sure. Now, it's a good tinfoil hat theory, but it's not for sure.
That's true. Okay.
If we're going to go with the words matter with the stag, just saying, words matter.
When I'm proved right later, I will expect my apology.
If there's telepathy, there's magic tapestries.
Why would there be magic in Aurelia?
I'm just saying. Anyway, back to our story.
Wait, how is that not something I brought up before?
What?
That there wouldn't be a magically appearing stag in Aurelia. There's no magic.
Obviously, there still is.
Because of Dorian?
And the king.
Oh,
And
God.
wasn't one of the other tapestries magic? Like the black one or whatever?
No.
Back to the story. Rowan admits he's never seen anything like it, not in his long life. While she was in there, he saw nothing, just darkness, until she came tearing out like the world was ending, and her skin bone white, like Edward Cullen on Cloudy Day white, minus the glitter. So you think it's a vampire?
That's what I'm thinking. Pale skin, dark hair, extremely beautiful. That is how vampires are described.
Yeah, that's 100%
Books.
vampire.
Books, movies, all across.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So maybe I should have given the Edward Cullen description to him and not her, even though she was scared shitless, literally. Poor girl.
Was she? I don't know that she actually pooped herself.
Well, she didn't poop herself, but she
Okay.
peed, which is still,
That's not
embarrassing.
as bad.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad considering what the poor girl went through being shown her worst nightmares.
That was a lot. To be slammed with both of those, one right after the other.
Yeah, here's this death. Here's this death. Like, nah. So I'd probably have done the same thing too. Vomited and pissed. Are you okay?
If it was a black fog to throw her into a nightmare, to reveal to her worst fears or is that a fear? That's not a fear, or like her worst memories?
Whatever shit's holding her up, basically. Trauma. It's her worst trauma.
Was this to push her to shift?
We don't know. Because Rowan doesn't fucking know. He's like, he doesn't know what the hell this thing is.
Yeah. And it pushed her to shift uncontrollably.
Yeah. So he's never seen this shit before. So we have no idea. Again, like, the reason why I don't like Rowan is he's just a dick. He's being a dick again. The poor girl pissed herself and he's just like, oh, fucking take a bath. I'll see you go to the kitchen in the morning. Like no sympathy.
She has no discipline. She has no control and she has no courage. She's not doing any of the things that a warrior should do? Someone who calls herself the world's greatest assassin?
Time out.
Come on.
Time out. Had she been attacked by a white, then I would have given her shit because he warned her, was like, hey, fuck off and don't do this because you're stupid. She did it anyway, which was stupid. But she wasn't planning on being attacked by whatever this creature was. That's not her fault. So I would have pissed and shit and everything myself too. Like, give the chick a break. And then she went through like the whole fucking fey human thing. Fucking like spazzing out like a light switch. So
I mean, yes,
like,
he could have,
break.
Yes, I agree.
A little nicety.
Yeah. You failed.
If I wanted somebody to save me and shit, yeah, Rowan for sure.
Have I introduced you to Slade?
You and Slade?
Yeah.
Okay. I will check out Slade. All right. Are we ready to turn the page?
Yeah. Yep. Let's go.
Caught Between in chapter 15.
Dads, spies, and soft boy eyes.
Negotiating with the narcissist and flirting with the crown prince. Welcome to chapter 15.
Chaol is waiting for his father, which is already a bad sign. The man walks in carrying the full energy of every emotionally stunted boomer dad who thinks, I paid the bills, counts as parenting. No empathy, no warmth, just cold ambition and disappointment. To him, Chaol isn't a son. He's an heir-shaped pawn. And don't worry, we've got the full bingo card here. Gaslighting.
Check.
Passive aggression.
Absolutely.
Subtle mom shaming for flavor.
1000%.
He does throw Chaol a half-hearted compliment about getting his office close to the barracks, because I guess that's the one thing worth praising. But when it comes to Anielle, the tension snaps back in. Chaol wants to delay returning until he finds a proper replacement. And sure, technically that's responsible, but we know he's stalling. Aedion's movements aren't adding up, and the guy straight up ghosted his own party. Something's going on, and Chaol's not leaving until he figures out what it is. His father senses the stall tactic, but hasn't quite put together why.
Chaol's digging and coming up dry. No solid info on Aedion or what the hell he and his Bane are actually planning. Meanwhile, he's also trying to low-key gather intel for Celaena and Dorian, and word on the street, the rebels might have figured out how to take out the king's power source. Big, if true. Celaena also gave him a map of a few rebel hideouts, and if he had to bet, that's where Aedion's sneaking off to. But of course, just when he's starting to put pieces together, enter Father of the Frickin' Year. Dude fires up the gaslight, drags Chaol's mom into it, because emotional damage is apparently a love language now, and starts laying on the guilt like it's a negotiation tactic. Chaol ends up brokering a deal for 2 months. 2 months to stall, to buy time, and maybe, just maybe, figure out what the hell Aedion's doing before the cheese board flips.
I like cheese board. Leave it cheese board. All of my charcuteries! Sorscha gets summoned to Dorian's chambers, and she is thrilled.
Hey!
Like, not just, oh, cool, excited. This is full body butterflies. And look, his room is still an absolute disaster of books. Books on every surface. Books as furniture. Books like some charming literary tornado blew through. Honestly, it's giving Hot Mess Prince, emotionally available edition.
Isn't this like the perfect guy for you book nerds?
Yes.
Good looking, suave, huge book nerd.
Super sweet.
A little bit messy, so he's not like perfect,
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a little bit of sloppiness to him, too. Yeah. All right. Well, he needs help with his hand, some sparring injury, but Sorscha's already clocked the real threat, that split lip, the one that'll require her to get very close.
Let's get it on.
Professional healer mode activated. Totally normal, not at all flustered, but she's not used to talking during her shifts. But Dorian is. He's tossing out easy, thoughtful questions. Where's she from? Did she always want to be a healer? It's low-key romantic. First date at the castle romantic. All they're missing is a food truck and a drummer boy.
Yes, they are.
And then his eyes. Oh, God, it's his eyes. They're pulling her under like a siren song. So she panics and zeroes in on that lip again. Yes, that's safe. Ointment, medicine. Definitely not a slow motion lip moment in her head. Definitely not.
What?
She got a crush.
I got a little hot here too. What? All right, she's had a now. Speaking of crushes, she's had a crush on him from the jump, way before titles entered the chat. Then she found out he was the prince, and boom, fantasy obliterated. Dreams don't survive court politics and absolute monarchies. Dorian pulls her out of her little rom-com moment with a heavy hitter. Why hasn't she ever turned any of them in? And she's like, because I know your father better than you, my sweet summer Dululu Dorian. Oh, and he literally Thanos snapped her entire village off the map. That might have something to do with it as well. She tells him the truth. She works at the castle because she's got nowhere else to go. And then finally it hits him. That big old brain of him finally catches up. Later, Sorscha's back in her cot, spiraling, embarrassed, replaying everything she said like a post-date cringe compilation, and wondering if she's about to get fired and executed. But the next morning, a messenger shows up, wants to know the name of her village. The crown prince asked so he could add it to his personal map of the continent. And yeah, that hits different.
Ooh, there's some flirty flirt going on.
Flirty flirt.
I love it.
Unfortunately, we got to bring it down and talk about Chaol's dad.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's talk about Chaol's dad first.
So, you already know what I'm about to say right now. I'm going to defend the shit out of Chaol right now.
Out of Chaol? Why wouldn't you?
Well, not just, I'm for everything, for all the Chaol haters.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
This man, this is why we put this in here about the boomer dad. We're not talking shit about all boomer dads, but the reason why we put that in there is because he does represent the absent father. The father that only wants perfection from their sons, doesn't give a shit about what they want in life. Like, so much pressure is put on Chaol. I mean, he's the captain of the guard at 22 to 24 years old. That's a huge accomplishment. He's like, well, at least you got your office down here. And Chaol even knew that one little compliment was to grease him up to get him back to NEL.
Yeah, his dad reminds me of what you always see in movies with the super rich parents who are both absent. So they have a nurse, or they have the chauffeur, or the maid who the children know as essentially their parents because they are raised by the staff. That's kind of what this makes me think of. They look at him like a possession because he's the heir. So you have
firstborn syndrome.
Yes.
You know what that is.
I do.
Yes, 100%. This is firstborn syndrome. Like, all the weight is put on his shoulders. Is on the firstborn shoulders. Like, no matter what, like, you are the heir. This is your duty now, especially back then, like during those times. Firstborn, yeah, they so much pressure put on them. And that's why we have to put ourselves into these characters' lives instead of looking at it from the outside when I talk about give Chaol a break when it comes to Nehemia.
No, I totally understand.
He is so fucked up from his father and loyalty this, loyalty that, blah, 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 like beaten to his head since he was born. And he's fighting it finally. So you got to give the dude a break. Like, it changing your complete thought process. And we're talking about this with the current political climate that's going on now. It just doesn't happen in one day.
No,
it takes time to completely change your thought process. So right now he's still weighing like where's my loyalty lie? Like, what is the truth? What is everything going on? And that's why he wants to stay in Rifthold to figure everything out. But
he is questioning it, and he wasn't before. So yes. That's progress.
Yes. Thank you. And Celaena gave him that progress.
And I feel like this is going to be very interesting to have had this conversation when we get to Queen of Shadow.
Yes. Because I'm not looking at Chaol as an MMC for Celaena. I look at Chaol as just one of the three main characters. To me, this series is not about an MMC and an FMC, like normal romantasy. Because this is not a romantasy. This is an epic fantasy.
Agreed.
This is about three characters, right? And I mean, more, but the main three, Dorian, Chaol, Celaena.
Yeah, so, they've been there from the beginning.
Exactly. And now we're starting to separate their lives, and they're, especially in this book, and we're seeing growth. And that's what we want to see. Like, Chaol was Mr. I am captain of the guard, rules when we first met him. And then because of knowing Celaena and seeing what happened in Elway with the slaughter and all this other stuff going on, he's like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? This has been going on like behind my back, and I'm finally opening up to this. And Selena's like pulling the curtain.
Yeah.
And it takes time for people to process that when that's your whole life that you believed in. Like taking somebody out of religion too, like deconstructing.
Yes, it takes time. You have to be able to question and take in new information and be able to even change your mind, to be willing to change your mind even.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know we haven't read Queen of Shadows yet. Everyone says, wait till you read that, but we'll see. But as of right now, this is his background. This is showing his dad, his upbringing, why Chaol is Chaol.
Yep.
And that's what Sarah J. Maas does so perfectly with writing characters and all that stuff. All right, so enough about Chaol. We know what he's doing. He's still trying to follow Aedion. Let's go to some happy times.
All right, now we're looking at Sorscha and Dorian, and girl has got it bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's got to get close to his lip and then ends up staring at his lips. when thinking about, what was she thinking about when she first met him or something?
Yeah. Yeah, when she first met him, she's like, oh, he's so cute. And then she found out Prince and it's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And I think these two are perfect for each other right now because Dorian feels completely alone with his magic and when Chaol and Celaena got together. So he's alone. And then her biggest thing is she works at the castle because she has nowhere else to go. So she's alone.
And he remembers that someone else said that they had nowhere else to go. And that kind of rings for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is definitely needed. I don't know if it's going to be temporary or, if, whatever, but this is needed now. Like these two need each other now.
Yes.
And it's cute.
And they are sharing secrets. Like she knows a lot of his secrets. He now has someone to kind of talk to because Chaol won't talk to him about this. And Celaena's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has nobody right. He has nobody right now.
Yeah.
You're right.
I did want to throw out this one epic line though. I've started stealing epic lines. So I'm just going to throw these in there at the bottom. I loved this. This was when Sorscha had stared at his lips and like totally got snapped back when he said something to her. And she just said, I'm sorry, wondering whether she should throw herself from the tower and end her humiliation.
Oh, poor thing.
I love that line.
Poor thing.
Anyways, that was all I had for this one.
Yeah. All right. You ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go. Mean on the scene in chapter 16.
Mess hall tension and terminal velocity.
Soup sabotage. Skydiving wyverns. The excitement awaits in chapter 16.
Back at the Omega, it's lunchtime in hell. All the witch clans are crammed into the mess hall twice a day to eat, and I say eat lightly. It's basically steaming piles of magically enhanced prison slop. The rest of the time, they're rotated through shifts to avoid throat-slitting incidents during snack time.
Mm-hmm.
Still, fights break out, obviously, but they're handled quick and loud. Bloody little reminders of the consequences. Every mealtime's a stare-down arena. Everyone's on edge. No one trusts anyone. Manon even contemplates snacking on a poor guy dishing out the gray goo. But then Iskra slides in with all the subtlety of a drunk bachelorette and cuts in line. In front of Manon. Bold move for someone who clearly has a death wish.
I'm guessing that Manon let that little act of disrespect slide only because the 13 are finally flying today. She's not about to get herself grounded by a bloodbath at the buffet. Not when she's waited this long to take to the skies. Still, the tension is thick enough to slice with a blade. And for a moment, everyone freezes. The whole mess hall goes quiet. Even the three matrons pause mid-glare to watch. Manon and Iskra square up, and Manon delivers her own brand of subtle threat. A jab about teaching Iskra how to fight. Then she turns her back because that's the real dominance move, and she stalks to the 13's table. Grandmother Blackbeak gives her the barest curve of a smile, which in witch speak might as well be a standing ovation. Now, it's time to fly.
Out on the cliff face, 26 wyverns are strapped up and looking like they'd rather eat a rider than carry one. 2 Blackbeak covens are about to make the crossing, and the 13 are front row, no question. The rules? Simple. The wyverns jump, no guidance, no ropes, no, maybe let's talk this out. If they don't pull up at the right time, you'll be turning into a smear on the canyon floor. And this isn't metaphorical danger. This is real, spine-snapping, full send or die stuff. Manon pulls down her extra eyelid goggles like she's suiting up for war. Not for fashion. These babies are the difference between flying and face-planting into a mountain at terminal velocity. More on those later, assuming she survives.
Okay. And then, just like that, they leap into freezing air and mist. No hesitation, just wyverns hurling themselves off the cliff like living missiles, and the riders trying not to die before breakfast. The free fall is brutal. The ground is screaming up to meet them, and then just before they become canyon pancakes, the wyverns snap their wings wide and rocket back up the face of the northern fang like it's a victory lap. The 13 let out howls and whoops, full feral jubilation. But even in triumph, the rules still apply. No smiling, Manon. No emotions, Sorrel. And Asterin, don't you dare cry. All right, now it's time to test their mounts. No pressure.
Back at the Omega, in her grandmother's not-so-humble stone nook of doom, Manon gets a rare moment of praise. The old bat actually compliments her on the day's success and her leadership over the Blackbeak covens. But surprise, that pat on the head comes with a loaded blade. Now, Granny wants her leading all the clans. Apparently, there'll be war games in a few months to determine command ranks. And Manon, she doesn't just get to compete, she's expected to win, period.
Cool. This is just your classic witchy war grandma to-do list, right? Become wing leader, command the Ironteeth armies, maintain control after the matrons inevitably turn on each other like a cauldron full of backstabbing feral cats. Roger that, grandmother. Okay.
All right.
This is exciting.
This is where they get to finally fly on the Wyverns and test them out a little bit.
The witches take to the skies.
And sounds very dangerous. It's like you're doing kind of like a nosedive, and then you got to pull up at the right time or else dead.
It sounds like the Wyverns have to. I don't know that the riders have any control. They just got to hang on and maintain when they take that steep climb back up the other side. And they all made it, so that's good.
Yeah, and of course, 13 were the best.
Of course they were.
And now they're going to be, hopefully, the leaders of the Iron Clan witches. Because doesn't the grandmother like have aspirations to lead, to be like the Iron Clan witch leader?
She wants Manon to be.
That's right. That's what it was.
Like that's what she's telling her. You are going to win to be all of this, and you're going to be the leader over everybody. That's how I took that.
Yeah, that's right. I did remember her saying that.
Yes. All right. So I have a couple epic lines. We got to talk about these eyelids, and we got to talk about, we learned a little thing about Baba Yellowlegs too. So I'm going to start with my epic line. One of them. Witches didn't need blood to survive, but humans didn't need wine either.
Basically just saying that humans are a delicacy.
Yeah. We don't need wine, but we like wine, so we drink wine. So witches don't need blood to survive, but they like blood. Let's talk about these eyelids.
So 2 sets of eyelids?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
not shocking. I mean, it's cool. I'm just saying it's not shocking because some creatures in fantasy have like 2 sets of eyelids that for protection. So that's kind of cool, yeah. I mean, that makes sense that they're witches that fly all the time, that you would have something like that to fly without a visor.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking fourth wing and thinking, oh, they're going to wear some kind of witchy goggles or something. I don't know.
I'm guessing all the witches have it then. So it must be like a trait.
It's got to be.
Well, if they all fly on brooms, it's got to be a trait. It's got to be like a thing that's part of their clan.
Yes, because it says without it, they'd fly like mortals.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Okay, so that's cool.
All right, and then Baba being 700, not surprised. I mean...
700 years old.
That's not that, I mean...
No. So, exactly what we were saying earlier.
What?
700-year-old witch against Celaena.
Yeah, she would have been decimated had Baba had her magic. Baba was no fucking joke.
For real.
And I'm sad we didn't get to see how much not of a joke she is.
Well, maybe these other people are that much not of a joke.
Yeah. I have no idea what happened there.
I don't know either.
I glitched, I think.
All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
I think so.
All right. Let's go.
To scene in chapter 17.
Bruised bodies and buried stories.
What started as a training session spiraled into something else entirely. Welcome to chapter 17.
Celaena wakes up feeling like she got hit by a magic freight train. Every nerve ending is singing the song of, "What the hell did you do last night?" But despite the full body ache, she knows one thing for sure. She didn't lose control. Not of her magic. Small victories. After dragging herself through a bath, she collapsed into the bed the night before and slept like the dead. Today, no healing salve. Let Rowan see the damage he caused. Let him wear that guilt. And then, a change of clothes left at her door? Right. The whole soiling herself situation. Excellent. Can't wait to add that to the trauma scrapbook.
She limps her way into the kitchen before dawn, and yeah, Emerson and Luca are shook at the state of her face. Full horror movie vibes. But Celaena doesn't flinch. She just rolls up her sleeves and gets to work like this is just another Tuesday. Luca, sweet summer dumbass, tries to offer her salve. She shuts that down real quick. Leave it. I've had worse. Which, judging by the scar parade she's now accidentally flashing, is very, very true. Luca's face goes pale. He doesn't say much after that, probably rethinking every tough day he's ever had. The breakfast rush kicks off as usual, but now more demi-fae are clocking her, checking her out with that, who the fuck is this girl curiosity. Then in comes Malachi, Emmer's mate, casually dropping a compliment on her black eye like it's a new pair of shoes.
It's weirdly civil. Malachi gives her a once-over and basically says, look, we'll leave you alone if you don't make Emerus's life harder. Fair? He's protective. They're mates. And Celaena, she's an unknown variable. Human from Otterland, violent past, training with the broodiest fae in existence. So yeah, they're on edge. But she shrugs it off, tells them she doesn't care. Except, does she? Is this actual apathy or just a migraine-fueled shutdown? It's hard to say when your head's pounding and your heart's hollow.
Back to training with Rowan, who kicks things off by asking if she plans to vomit or piss herself again.
What? No, he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Real sensitive king energy. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. They're up among some ancient temple ruins. Reminds me of Temple Run. Remember that game? Temple
Yes.
Run?
Oh, I love that game.
Mist swirling like it's trying to pick a fight, and he's just standing there dead-eyed, telling her to shift. But surprise, still not happening. He flat out refuses to teach her anything magic-related unless she shifts first. She even gave it a real shot once when he wandered off into the trees, being all broody and mysterious. Dug deep, got nothing, no spark, no flash, not even a single tingle, just void. So they sat there, trading barbs verbally and telepathically.
Telepathically.
He even made her tough it out through a full thunderstorm just to be a dick. Teeth chattering, soaked to the bone, and then he dumped her at the baths again, like that made it all better.
When she got back to her room, surprise, fresh, dry clothing waiting again. Okay, who is this mysterious laundry elf, and how do we tip them? Her stomach dragged her toward the kitchen. She figured it would be empty this late, just her and the leftovers. But nope, it's packed. Every surface is covered in food, and there are bodies everywhere. She went full stealth mode, trying to sneak a plate and vanish, when Malachi called the room to attention. This wasn't just dinner, it was a gathering, a story circle. And suddenly she was standing in a sacred Fae tradition, stories told around hearths in kitchens, just like this one. And when Emrys started speaking, she was locked in. The tale was about the wicked fairies that haunt this land. And yeah, now it made a lot more sense why Rowan hadn't lit a single fire during their trek there.
Later, when she tried to slip out of the story circle into the kitchen, she clocked a white-tailed hawk watching from the shadows. That same hawk from Varese. The one with the eyes she now definitely recognizes. And just like that, she knows that this is Rowan.
Rowan.
Then Emrys calls her out. Would she like to share a story from her homeland? Yeah, that's a hard pass for her. Truth is, she was too young to remember them clearly anyways. Too much blood, too much loss. She wouldn't disrespect her people by fumbling it for strangers. The whispers followed her all the way back to her room when she finally crashed under the stars. No story, no fire, just silence.
Woo! All right. Wait, do you want to start at the top?
No, we're fine. We can get this out of the way.
So they sat on the mountainside. Celaena frozen to the bone. At least she didn't lose control again, no matter what insults he threw her way, either aloud or through one of their silent, vicious conversations.
Okay, I got you. Telepathically then.
I mean, I can still go with face expressions that you can read, body language. I'm still saying telepath.
I'll let you have that one for right now.
Now that you've made me doubt myself.
I feel like it's facial expression reading. I feel like there's just like that tension's there.
I want it to be telepathically.
I know. Well, I want a magically appearing stag.
I guess
now you know how it feels. Now you know how it feels.
Now I know how it feels to want. All right.
Because it's magic, and when you're like, well, it's magic. It should be able to happen anyway, right?
That's true.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you want telepathy, and I want magically
appearing stag.
This is basically just showing some more hard training from Rowan and showing the scars and all that shit from her. And he's a fucking dick. Like, giving her shit for vomiting and pissing herself. The fuck?
That was pretty messed up.
You're I'm like, okay, he's been around for a hot minute, so maybe he wouldn't have pissed himself with this creature. But I'm just saying, your average 19-year-old is probably going to piss themselves with that shit.
Feel everything. So she could hear everything, smell everything, feel everything. It was like she was there again.
Yeah.
So she relived it.
Yeah.
But she didn't tell him that.
Still.
Yeah. Well, he has no sympathy. So
no. Well, he has a little bit because he's obviously the laundry elf.
The laundry elf?
Yeah.
You think so?
It's obviously that's his way of being like, I'm sorry. Here's some clothes.
Yeah. You're sorry. Here's some clean clothes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Here's some clothes.
Drop you off at the bath. Here's some clean clothes.
Duh. I gotta go get another face tattoo.
Oh my gosh.
People are going to hate me for this.
Yes, they are.
They're like, quit shitting on Rowan.
You leave his tattoo
Look,
allowed.
my son's name is Rowan. I'm allowed, okay? It's a rule.
We'll see if they allow that.
All right, you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go. Secrets Lean in Chapter 18.
Rush tonics and cloak threats.
A prince breaks, a healer lies, and a spy gets caught. Chapter 18 awaits.
Back with our sweet boy Dorian, who's currently thinking every god he knows that he doesn't have to make small talk with Aedion or Chaol. Can we say awkward city? He's been dodging that emotional landmine by sparring with the guards every morning and conveniently needing healing from Sorscha right after. So often, in fact, she started leaving her door cracked at just the right time. Girl's got a schedule now. Today's excuse? A sprained wrist. She offers him a pain tonic and a sling, but the sling? Yeah, no. That would be a social suicide in the barracks. So he waves it off like every guy does. Oh, I need that sling. Come on. I'd probably do the same thing, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But Dorian's got it bad. This prince has a full-blown crush.
But he plays it smooth, swerves right into, what are you working on? Like he's not very clearly there for the proximity. Still, he clocks it, how she flinches a little when he gets a little too close. The fluster is real and kind of adorable. As she's prepping his tonic, she asks about the king's champion and Fleetfoot. The tone is curious but cautious. Then she drops the question about those strange creatures, the ones they'd heard in the halls. Dorian tells her they've been taken care of, both of them. But then she hits the real nerve. Would he be punished if the king knew?
And Dorian's blood went cold. Not like spooky vibe cold. Actually cold. That chill started spreading through him like ice in his veins, and the temperature in the room dipped. Sorscha even glanced over at the fire to make sure it hadn't pooped out. Then she asked the question, the one he hadn't wanted to hear out loud. Would the king kill the champion if he knew? That cracked something open. He couldn't push it down this time. Couldn't hold it back. And when she added that Chaol would probably be next, that was it. The dam broke. His magic erupted. Raw, rising ice tearing through the room like it had been waiting for an excuse.
Holy shit. Oh, all right. Fast forward a little bit. Sorscha now has to explain to her boss why the entire work table looks like it lost a bar fight with a blizzard. And all those hours of delicate healing prep, gone. Her explanation? She slipped on a bit of oil she forgot to clean up. Whoopsie. Totally normal accident. Definitely not. The crown prince went full Elsa and iced half the room. Because how exactly do you say, the prince's eyes started glowing and then he turned my entire workplace into a magical snow globe while remaining completely untouched? Well, she couldn't, so she didn't. Instead, she had crouched beneath the table, waiting it out. And that's where Dorian had found her, curled up, silent, pretending not to shake. Then she was snapped back to reality by her boss, Amethy, tapping pointedly on what was left of the table. Reminder, Sorscha is a healer, not a court darling. You're not to consort. No familiarity. Keep your hands and your heart to yourself.
Sorscha played it cool. Promised there was nothing to worry about. Same line she gave Dorian when he lost control, because when she looked at him, she didn't see a threat. She saw someone barely hanging on, someone who needed help, and she decided she would be the one to give it. She was also the one who came up with the I slipped and ruined everything story, flipping the work table over to cover for all the shattered glass and frost-covered chaos. Quick thinking, quiet loyalty. She even offered to start looking into a tonic to help him suppress the magic. Not fix it, just contain it, enough to get him through. Then she opened the door on purpose, making sure the gossipy healers nearby heard her apologize to the prince for slipping and making a mess. Her boss, Amethy, didn't buy it. Probably didn't need to, but all she said was, take the lesson to heart.
All right, scene change. Back alleys, hooded figures, secret meetings. Yeah, we're officially deep in Chaol Chip's espionage era.
Call me Chip. Chaol Chip.
Oh my god. He had finally managed to tail Aedion after that suspiciously theatrical party appearance. Alibis locked, fake drunk stumble out the front door, whole thing screaming, everyone will be able to provide an alibi. See? Classic misdirection. But once he got a block away, he had a total Kaiser Sose moment. Hood up, totally sober, and off he went. Chaol followed him into the slums where Aedion met a cloaked figure armed with twin blades. Maybe someone from the Bane? They spoke briefly, just long enough to confirm this was definitely not casual. And then Aedion followed the stranger through the city's decaying teeth, straight into a building that looked ready to collapse. Except it was guarded. Not by royal soldiers, not by anyone official.
This wasn't some sketchy back alley drug deal or brothel entrance. No, this place screamed rebel activity. Chaol couldn't help but think of all the notes Celaena had left behind. Pages of warnings and theories about how the rebels were trying to shut down the king's power at the source. If they were right, if they actually had something, then maybe Dorian's secret didn't have to be a death sentence. Maybe if Chaol could find how magic was being suppressed, he could help his friend survive. And maybe Aedion coming here wasn't a random risk. Maybe it was a message. But he was so locked in, so focused on piecing it all together that he didn't notice the threat until Cold Steel kissed his side.
Ah! Kale Chip!
Cliffhanger.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that we ended right there.
Hey, it's just the luck of the pages, man.
I know. I want to scream.
Well, speaking of screaming, let's scream for
Back to the top.
Dorian and Sorscha's little flirtatious.
The flirtatiousness, but her questioning cracked open his magic.
So it's definitely sounds like it's emotion related.
For sure. And fear. Fear seems to be, it's fear. Everything's about fear.
That explains what Rowan is probably doing to Celaena, trying to get some certain emotional rise out of her to get her magic going, probably.
Ooh. I mean, that explains all the insults.
Still don't have to be that big of a dick, but...
Yeah, that's true. He's just a little too much.
Yeah, so like you said, he went full Elsa, and Sorscha, as always, helped clean it up and kept it quiet.
She is something else.
Yes.
She
is, I don't know if you've seen all the new Spider-Mans with Tobey, not the other guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
So do you remember, I think it was either the first one, I think it was the first one, where Ned was like, I want to be the guy in the chair. You know, that always helps out the superhero.
Yes.
That's Sorscha.
Yes.
Sorscha's the guy in the chair.
Aw.
That helps out the superheroes.
You're totally right. Oh, she's a good one. She's perfect for that role.
I like Sorscha.
I like Sorscha too.
And now Chaol, like you said, he's doing his little James Bond impression.
Mm-hmm. Kale. What'd you say, Chip? Kale Chip?
Yeah. The name's Chip. Chaol Chip.
So I think I may have been right about Aedion. Just kind of bebopping around through everybody to kind of make sure that everybody saw him there and could say, yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him. So if anybody was like wondering if he was there, so many people saw him. He was clearly there. That's an alibi. And then he did the Kaiser Sose moment. Yeah. He acted like he was drunk when he walked out. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. Just acted drunk and walked out. And then a block away, he was sober.
So who's he talking to? Who's the guy with the dual blades in the hood?
I'm actually wondering if the Bane is already in the city.
I don't think this is the Bane.
You don't think so? You don't think they might already be in the city and they're at the rebel hideout already? Maybe? Because if they're loyal to Aedion... So
are we assuming Aedion is loyal to the king? Or are we...
He's got the black ring.
Or is he pretending to be loyal? But we don't... But they said they have a way to get rid of his magic. What if Aedion is... They're using the ring to figure out how to get rid of the magic. You have to... Because how else would they be doing it to figure out how to get rid of magic? Or get rid of his hold on Rifthold?
Maybe they already figured it out and the ring doesn't mean anything or doesn't have any power anymore, and Aedion just wears it to trick the king. I'm out in the ocean with my tinfoil hat.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give my final tinfoil hat on this one. All right. Aedion is a good guy. He's a dick, but he's a good guy because he's still, a Terrasen. So here's what I think is happening. He has a ring because he is the general. So I think the king gave him a ring thinking he's on our side. Because the king's like, I can control him because he'll murder the rest of the people over in Terrasen, right? So I think Aedion is part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club to pretend, and he's secretly working with the rebels.
Okay. To overthrow the king.
And they're using the ring to figure out how to get rid of that power.
Do you think that's why he was talking to Dorian in the gardens, trying to suss out if he was an ally or a foe?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, that's possible.
Well, I guess we're about to find out what they think about Chaol.
Yeah.
All right.
We're about to find out some shit.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 points that I want to talk about that we didn't touch on during, but I thought they were important.
Okay.
During Dorian's explosion,
It
says, as the blast of ice and wind and something else surged toward her. Something else. Else is written in italics. Something else surged towards her.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But either way, he has cool powers because I know Iceman in X-Men is an Omega level mutant.
Isn't Riddick ice also?
Riddick is also ice, yes.
Okay. All right. And then one more point I wanted to talk about was with Mr. Chaol. And he couldn't stop a shiver down his spine as he touched the eye of Elena. I don't know that it means anything.
No, that could just be like...
Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps it was mere coincidence that it led him here, but he touched the eye of Elena. Like maybe he felt guided there. I don't know. Anyways.
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a knife at his side? That's the big one.
Aedion.
Okay.
Aedion's not dumb.
Yeah, I'll go with that too.
Come on.
That's kind of...
He knew that he was being followed probably from the get-go. He's probably known this entire time that Chaol's been telling him.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready to do he said, she said?
I am.
I swear to God, we have it this week.
I bet we have the same easy and it's going to be hilarious.
Probably.
I'm excited. Let's go.
All right, folks, it's time for He Said, She Said, the game where we test each other's knowledge of this week's chapters by guessing who said what.
Or more accurately, it's the game where I win because Scott either overthinks it or totally blanks out.
Excuse me? I'm just giving you the illusion of superiority. It's called strategery.
Is that what we're calling it? Anyway, we've each picked 3 quotes, and the other person has to guess who said them. 30 seconds, no hints, no lifelines, maybe some multiple choice if he begs.
And apparently no mercy either. Let's get to it before Genevieve starts drafting her victory speech. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of He Said, She Said. First one for Heir of Fire. Technically should be the second, but we did not have enough time to record it last week.
That's all right.
All right, so you ready to get into it? This one, we have a lot more characters to choose from, probably way too many people to choose from versus Assassin's Blade where we had like nobody to choose from.
This one I think is going to be super difficult just because of exactly what you said. There were so many people. There was a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue. I wish us the best of luck.
All right. Well, may the odds be ever in your favor.
I think we might have the same first one, though, because we were both kind of laughing about it. So I'm wondering if we have the same. You go first.
Did you always want to be a healer?
Oh.
Yeah. Threw you off there, didn't I?
You did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you always want to be a healer? I mean, that is Dorian to Sorscha. She's the only healer. Yes. So that was easy. Okay. I understand. All right. So mine, I believe, is even easier than that. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Shift.
Okay. I see where you I see where you thought where I might go that route, and that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's because you thought I was gonna go there. So I went with this one, which is also an easy one, the Dorian Sorscha one. So obviously it is Rowan to Celaena.
I think we both did really good on the easy one. Not that you've had any problems at all, but
maybe that 1 week off really helped.
Maybe.
To like reset everything.
We'll just pretend that I went to training for He Said, She Said.
All right. Well, on to our medium. So we'll just kind of snake it. So we'll let you go first this time for the medium.
Okay. I like it. All right. My medium. They say you were once the best flyer in all 3 clans. It would be a shame if it were just more gossip. I know that's 2 lines, but I felt like they kind of went together.
Now it's being said to Manon.
Okay.
I'm going to say Iskra.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
Good job. All right. Because it could have been 2 people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could have been a lot of witches. So, I mean, a couple people could have said that to Manon. So that's perfect. Yeah.
All right.
So, you ready?
Yeah. Give me your medium.
Now, this was my favorite line. The one I was talking about. I was going to put it in easy, but then I was like, well, few people could say this, honestly.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
No eating the rabble.
Oh.
That part cracked me up. Yeah, like you can't just don't eat the help, basically.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You're going to be so mad.
Why?
Oh, when you find out who it is. Well, if you don't get it.
I feel like it was a conversation between Asterin and Manon.
Final answer?
Yes.
Very close.
Ah.
Now, who was saying it to who?
I thought it was Asterin saying it to Manon because she could tell that Manon wanted to eat the guy behind the counter.
So you're halfway right. So it is to Manon.
Uh-huh.
But it was actually Iskra that said it to Manon.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And that's when she walked up to them and cut in line?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. That was my other guess. Okay. That was good. Good.
Yeah, but that was my favorite line because it was just so funny. Like basically the help are looked at as just like hors d'oeuvres. Like they're not looked at as human at all. They're just like, hey, no eating the rabble. It's like imagine being that guy and hearing that, be like, oh, fuck.
Well, that was like my favorite line that nobody said, but that was in I don't know. It's my favorite. One of my favorite lines is blood to the witches was wine to humans. I was like, whoa.
All right. Back to snaking it. So I guess it's me for the hard one.
Yes.
That's what she said. This is what you're training for, right?
Ooh, this is what you're training for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Training. Celaena's training.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan could have said that to her.
Mm-hmm.
Luca is also training.
Luca is also training.
I don't think we know any other names right now that are training. I feel like this is Celaena talking to Luca in the kitchen to confirm that he's also there to try to get to Dornell.
You said Luca to Celaena?
No. Celaena to Luca.
Celaena to Luca.
Yes, Celaena said that to Luca, like, this is what you're training for too, right? To go to Doranel?
So you're close. It's the same conversation.
To Emrys?
But this is the question before that. So this is Emrys to Celaena.
Oh.
This is what you're training for, right? And then they start getting to the conversation that Luca's also training and that Emrys also came here to train, tried for 10 years and didn't make it. Speaking of his story, we didn't speak of his story too much with him and his mate.
Yeah, Malachi.
So I think it's beautiful that his mate could have went to Doranel, but chose to stay for him.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Yeah.
All right, so give me your hard one. Yeah.
Man, all right, you've stumped me twice. Almost. Like, I'm in the same conversation, just... Okay,
yeah,
my hard one.
I mean, you're right there, so...
Yeah. All right. Use your words.
Okay. So it's not Maeve, because that was said in chapters 1 through 9, where they were talking about using your words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think of... So we have 3 different situations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to narrow down at least which to use your words.
Yes.
I don't think it's any of the witches. I'm going to say Celaena to Rowan.
No.
Okay.
It was Chaol to the 2 guards outside the Great Hall.
That's right. Yes.
I knew I was going to get you with that one.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out which scenario. The reason I was saying use your words is maybe some type of magic training or something like that.
Yep.
That's where my thought process went with that one. All right. Well, that was a good, fun one. Getting us back in the spirit. And I think all categories were good. All the easies were perfect. Mediums, hards.
Yes. Do you have a bonus?
Oh, shit. Yeah, bonus. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I probably would have put in medium.
Okay.
Once you're comfortable with flying, and then he got stopped after that. Someone else, interrupted the person.
He was talking to the witches, clearly, because flying.
I think I gave it away by saying he...
Well, I know it was one of the guards or the wyvern keepers.
That's it. The person doesn't have a name. It's just wyvern trainer to witches.
Trainer. Yes.
But I gave it away by saying he. Because I was trying to make it sound like one of the witches could have said it to you. Like, once you're comfortable with flying, like maybe one of the matrons said it. You know?
Well, as soon as you cut it off, I remember that the witches kind of hissed at him for even suggesting that they didn't know how to fly.
But I still think it would have been a good medium because it could have been a few people. It's not obvious unless you remember that part.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am fairly invested in the Manon parts, so...
Obviously.
I don't understand how people don't like the witches stuff so far. What?
Feminism.
Oh, whatever. All right, my bonus. You ready?
Yep.
If you get this... Yeah, anyways.
So this is supposed to be a hard one? Like a backup for a hard one then?
Yes.
Okay.
I might even call this hard plus. All right, ready? I don't know.
So I don't know. So this is... I'm just going to throw names. Guards to Chaol?
No.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Rowan answering Celaena's telepathic question. So he said it to Celaena.
But we haven't...
Yes.
It's not been
Don't argue with me.
proven yet that they're telepathic.
Okay. I disagree.
Now, you could technically say body language is a form of communication because we didn't specifically say what... I did use sign language with the mute master.
That's true. You did.
But at least sign language is an actual language.
Well, he actually said, I don't know to her.
Yeah,
So,
he did.
yeah.
Okay.
That was the only out loud part.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the...
No, but that would have been good. Been like, that telepathic line.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me with you.
I should have done that. Dang it.
All right. Well, that was a successful...
Yes.
She said.
Yeah, I did pretty good. Maybe that training went really well.
There you go. All right. Let's move on to Assassin's Whisper.
Yes, let's go.
Welcome, Seekers of Secrets, to Assassin's Whisper. I am Obsidian, sharp as a blade, clever as a riddle, and never where you expect me.
And I am Garnet, the shadow you sense but cannot see, and the voice that carries truths only the bold dare to hear.
Together, we are the Keepers of Whispers, guardians of the secrets of Aurelia, entrusted to pass them on to only the most cunning assassins.
This is your covert briefing, a recap of what has transpired in the world of Aurelia. Pay attention, assassin. The truth is a weapon, and we're here to make sure you wield it well.
Listen carefully for every whisper.
Welcome back, my deadly darlings. The whispers have been waiting for you, and this week they trail through kitchens, combat rings, and memories that don't stay buried. Celaena Sardathian scrubs pans by day, bleeds under Rowan's training by night, and still can't shake the weight of Nehemia, Chaol, her past, or who she was born to be.
And Rowan? He's not here to coddle. His job is simple, but sure hard enough that she either burns away the lies or burns out trying. Dorinell won't wait, and neither will he.
Back in Rifthold, Dorian is still unraveling. His magic surges without warning. His loneliness cuts deep. And the only thing grounding him is a healer who wasn't supposed to mean anything, but somehow does.
Chaol's torn between duty and suspicion. His father demands his return to Aniel, but Aedion Ash River's shadow games in Rifthold are impossible to ignore. Secrets are moving, and so is Chaol.
Far to the north, Wyverns scream over the Ferian Gap. Manon Blackbeak trains with her 13, but her eyes are locked on a bull wyvern with bite. She doesn't want a pet. She wants a weapon.
From Mountain Wind to Palace Corridor, the pieces shift, and the fire underneath it all is starting to rise.
Celaena, Dorian, Chaol, Manon, Rowan. The threads pull tighter, the storm builds, and nothing stays buried forever.
Until next time, walk the shadows and trust only the whispers.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Booked for Two.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help other book lovers find the show.
Follow us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks.
Join us for our live Q&A. We are back to Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central on TikTok. We'll answer your burning questions, react to your theories, and occasionally overshare our book-related emotional damage.
Want even more chaos? Join our Discord. The link's in our bio. Come hang out, chat books, and get early access to exclusive content.
Finally, don't forget to grab official Book for Two merch at bookfor2.com.
Until next time, keep turning the page.